time for the Candlepin Challenge on COMCAST SPORTSNET. Hi again, everyone, and welcome inside the Woburn Bowlerdrome. John Holt with Dan Murphy and Trina Fernandez as we reach the Final Four regular season shows, looking ahead to the championship.
That's
show.
right. Always they're trying to get in that top three, and will it be one of the regulars that we have each and every week here, or will it be dark horse? And of course, we remember the Kentucky Derby several weeks ago, a 50-to-1 shot. So maybe it'll be somebody who will making their debut on the show, or one or two shots at the show, somebody new. And that would be interesting.
Yeah, down the stretch they come, chasing those three totals you saw. The reigning champ is Korey Packard from Sutton, Mass. We'll speak with him in just a second, but first, Trina, standing by with the challengers. Trina?
Thanks, John. Today our challengers are Dean Sullivan and Steve Vadney. Dean, you were on last year. You lost to Gary Carrington in the first string. What are you going to learn from that experience and use it today?
Just take my time and bowl my game and see the pin fall.
So take your time. That's good advice. So you learned a good lesson, but you've got a tough opponent today in Steve Vadney. I know you know that. Steve, your fourth time this season, I believe?
Yeah, I keep coming back trying to do it right. Hope to knock down a bunch of pins today.
Well, I know you're hoping to make it to the finals, so we're just going to have to start calling you Mr. COMCAST. Back over to you, John.
Okay, Trina, thank you. With our champ, Korey Packard, shooting for 3 weeks in a row. How much of you is thinking about just getting the win, and how much of you, any part of you, thinks about those top two game totals?
I just go out there, do the best I can, and hopefully I can just win first, and then if I get a big score, even better.
Well, good luck today.
Thank you very much.
We're back with the Challengers match right after this on COMCAST SPORTSNET. Welcome back to Woburn. We are set to go. Just 4 weeks remaining in the regular season as we look ahead to the championship show, and anyone you see on the show the next few weeks, of course, can qualify to compete in that championship if they break into the top three. And we start with the challengers today. Dean Sullivan to go first, lane 35 from Merrimack, New Hampshire. He will start by dropping 5.
And leaves himself the 4 horsemen to the right, plus the 8 pin in the back row.
Takes out that single pin in the back row. 1, 3, 6, 10 remain. Just a one-string challengers match. 10 boxes to determine who advances. This week they will meet Korey Packard, who is looking for his 3rd week in a row as champ of the Candlepin Challenge.
Dean starts with a 9, moves over to lane 36. As John said, challengers match, 1 game, sprint to the finish. Winner will take on our champ for a 2-game match.
Half dozen fall.
Probably wants that 3-pin to stay up to give him any shot at all with a 3, then the 7, 9, and 10 in the back row, and now the 3 goes down. Let's see. Well, he's going to have to take a piece of that wood on the right and have something come off the wall. Not quite for the 7.
2 in a row open for Dean. Chance for 10 bucks and a 19. But he'll miss to the right. So pair of 9s. Out of Steve Vadney. Been a regular this season and over the years on the show. From Claremont, New Hampshire.
He has a 9-7 record on the show.
Takes out 6, leaves the 1, 3, 6, and the 9 as well.
Most recently, beating John Blaze in the challengers match. He starts with a spare, 138 to 110, but then he ran into a guy named Jeff Surratt, and he lost to Jeff Surratt 264, 231 back in January.
Jeff at the moment and likely to stay that way, holding the top score, the top 2-game total.
Yeah, the only way he can get revenge on Jeff is to crack the top 3 scores so he comes back for that final show, the championship show. 6-10 on the right with a 4-7. Snap the wood in front of the 6-10 and see what happens, and basically nothing. Took out just a 6.
A spare 6 followed by a 9 for Steve. He gets to 25 pins, and he's ahead by 7 early. Back to Dean Sullivan, box 3.
A little full on the head pin, leaves the 2-4-7 on the left with a 6.
Three in a row open. 2 9s, now a 7. Gets Dean to 25.
Loses it to the left. So, unfortunately, he'll be open for the first 4 frames.
It's all 10 this time, though. 35 through 4. Back to Steve for box 3. Put a spare up on lane 35 the first time around. Half Worcester to the left, punches out the 2 and the 8. Left with 6 pins still up.
Manages to work it out for an 8 and gains another in count. Lead is now 8 through 3 frames, and he's opposite a 10 box by Dean.
Drops 7. Leaves the 5 and the 7-8 in the back row.
Couple pieces of wood out front. Naturally, he's going to have to use those. Problem pin probably is going to be the 7. Oh, he got it from behind.
Second mark, both spares, 1 on 35, 1 on 36 for Steve Vadney, and he's in good shape through 4 boxes.
Watch the piece of wood hit the 7 pin from behind, right there.
Dean in box 5, drops 8.
On the head pin there, but leaves himself to 4 and 10. Let's see where that wood settles down, and it's going to roll off.
Third 9 in 5 boxes, and Dean has a 44 half. It's below his average pace. 119 is average. Needs to get a couple marks, gain some confidence.
Good effort there. But still looking at 2 pins, and he'll be open through 6.
There's a theme of 9s. He has 4 of them now at 53 through 6. Steve Phil situation following that spare in the 4th now. Gets 8.
Steve will be the first to say that was a little luck on that first ball, missing the head pin, leaving the 7 and the 8, couple pieces of wood in front, not a problem. 2 in a row, sets himself up not only for bonus money, but take control of the match.
$50 if he can get a 3rd consecutive mark. Spare or strike here in box 6.
Leads by 17 plus this bonus ball. A little light hit there, drops 8 more. And convert the 2 and the 7 pins for $50.
Can't get the 2 into the 7. So he'll be open. 6 frames, 3 marks, 3 open frames for Steve, and comfortable lead at this point as he moves to 79, up by 26 pins.
Still is time, but Dean has got to put some marks up now. 26 pins, that's probably 3 good marks away from his opponent. And he has 4 frames remaining. 4 horsemen left, plus the 9 pin in the back row.
Two, 4, 7 remain. Second 10 box of the game to 63 for Dean Sullivan.
Diamond leave 3, 5, 6, and 9 pins. Not an easy spare, but the best shot he's had so far. And off the wall, finally, in the 8th frame. Comes up with his first mark.
Steve, box 7. And 7 go total. 1, the 9, and the 10 remaining for Steve.
More than likely lose at least 1 in count.
And he does. Now he'll be opposite the mark from Dean in the 8th.
Leading by 25 through 7 frames. And as John said, facing that mark. Of course, Dean is hoping that he doesn't put a mark up and he can cut into that lead. He's going to have a chance on the 3-pin.
Got it.
Matching spares in the 8th.
Steve Vadney in terrific shape with 2 boxes remaining.
And Dean needs a big fill and continue marking the 9th and 10th.
Fills
Late
it with
hits.
8.
He's got the 7-10. Let's see if he can negotiate that piece of wood out in front. Looks like below the red line, left of the red line, the ball could take out the 7 and the wood take the 10.
Yes.
2 in a row. Sets himself up for possible bonus money, which he probably needs in order to stay in the match. He needs another mark. Can't make a mistake on the fill. Kicks out 7. So that's a 2-4-7 for $50 bonus money and to stay in the match. No.
That's 1 more pin to the total. 106 for Dean.
Right now, Steve Vadney is at a 118 clip, not counting the fill on this spare. So looks like he will probably be moving on against Korey Packard.
Makes it official with a 9 right there to move to a 107. That's already a pin ahead of Dean. And another spare, 2 in a row. He's in a bonus money situation. Fills that with 5. Steve is going to surpass his average of 123. Solid bowling. Total of 5 marks, all spares. Dean had 2, but his game came alive a little too late. Steve Vadney finishes with a 130 and a 24-pin victory over Dean Sullivan. And Steve advances. Up next, a matchup with Korey Packard on COMCAST SPORTSNET. Will go first. Steve Vadney, who just advanced out of the Challengers round with a 130-106 win, will go second in this first game. Korey with us from Sutton, Massachusetts. Just a single pin, two pins.
Yeah, one in the 9. It's an interesting start.
Couple more.
We missed it a couple weeks ago. Korey came on in the Challengers match, beat Joe Hall 124-123, just a 1-pin victory. He went into the championship match and he won 250-249, another 1-pin victory. And then last week met Richie Myrick in the championship round and won 265-260. So he's had some close matches. And so far he's on the head pin, but he's on the head pin a little too full.
Had a 7 to start with. And looking at 3 pins remaining with his third ball in box 2. Gets one of them, so a 7 and an 8. 15 for Korey. Steve to start his championship match. Skips it in there to take out 5. It's the 1, 3, 6, 10 plus the 8 in the back row.
Got the 4 horsemen, but leaves the 8 pin.
$10 to jump out ahead by 3 pins.
Did you say something about 3 pin? Because that's what he just removed, folks, just the 3 pin. Hard to do.
Decent recovery to knock out 7 others.
And he can gain a couple more and count with the 10 box.
Pair of 10s gets him to 20, ahead by 5. Korey sporting the 125 average. Drops 7.
Wants that 9 pin to go. No. Can he deflect the ball off the piece of wood in front of the 4 pin into the 9? Looks like he's got a pretty good angle there. Let's see if it happens.
Yes. First mark of this championship match comes in box 3 for Korey.
You see the replay right on the red line. Ball takes off, almost going up over that 9 pin. And he's been on the head pin with that first ball. And he's on it again. Oh, wow, how did that
Stays
5
up.
pin?
Slid over to the left, but did not go down.
At the 5 and the 8, the 8 went down and the 5 looked like he was going and moved off the spot, but still remains. Now, a piece of wood way out in front always worries me.
He got it, though. 2 in a row. Thought he was going to have strike on spare. Instead, 2 spares in a row. Look at the replay.
Just buries it in the 1-3 pocket. There goes the 8, and the 5 looked like it was going. But he makes it 2 in a row.
And vastly improved on his 7 and 8 that he had in box 1 and 2. Steve hoping for 3 10 boxes in a row. That could be a bit of a challenge.
What'd you say?
Fooled me. Well done.
He hasn't left the pin standing, Steve Vadney, but he hasn't got a mark yet. He's got a good chance here. The 4-pin, there it goes.
It's a strike. Our first strike today. That's opposite the second spare in a row from Korey in the 4th. Things starting to heat up.
Nudges the 4-pin from behind, rocks back and forth, and finally he goes down.
This would be for $50 if he can make it a 3rd mark in a row.
Wow, a backdoor strike. Oh my.
Korey will take it.
Missing the head pin, you don't usually get this kind of a break, but that was a $50 shot. Should I really pay him for something like that? But I've always said, when you get a lucky strike like that, the next one you bury it in the 1-3, 1-2 pocket and you get a double. And there it is.
He's on fire right now.
You know, he's been all over the head pin, every box but that first strike. So you figure he's coming back in the pocket in just a matter of time or what he'll end up with. And then, of course, it's a double strike, and he's on his way to a big opening game. Steve Vadney trying to keep pace. 6-10, piece of wood out in front, trying to go spare, a strike spare.
He's got 2 in a row. There's no breathing room. He's opposite a mark in every box here from Korey.
Yeah, he has to keep marking, and he's going to hope that Korey does not fill that double strike with anything too large. Steve right back in the pocket, dropping 8.
Leaves the 5 and the 8.
This will be a little more difficult. He has to come up high in the wood and above the red line and turn it and drive it straight back into the 5 and the 8. And made it look a lot easier than it was.
We've got a good one. Korey Packard, Steve Vadney. 6 boxes into game 1 of 2. And a run of marks for both bowlers. Back with more after this. Back as Korey gets ready to go for a triple strike. It would be his 5th mark in a row. 2 spares, 3-4, then strikes in 5 and 6.
Of course, any kind of a mark is another $50, but another strike, he would share in that $1,000 pool for everyone that throws a triple strike during the season. And John reminds me that Jeff Surratt is the only one that has completed that task. That probably is what Steve Vadney was hoping for. Something low on the double strike, only 3, and only 4. So that double strike did not benefit him as much as it could have.
And only a 7 in the 7th.
So that gives him 98 through 7. Could have been a lot more than that, although he did hit the head pin. But he just drove the ball right straight through just for that 3, and then, of course, one more on the second strike. Little momentum swing here. Still looking at 5 pins.
So a 7 and an 8, just like he opened with 7-8, and he is at 106. At that hot stretch of 4 frames in between.
Now to Steve Vadney, to gain on that momentum, to ride that momentum swing, is to get a decent fill and another mark. And this match was practically even. And he can't take advantage of it.
Only 2.
So the lead is 11 pins through 6 frames.
Gains 1 and count in the 7th.
Lead is now 10 through boxes completed. Steve is opposite an 8 frame. So just when you thought someone was going to take control of the match, just hasn't happened. Well, that might go a long ways to taking control.
Each bowler with 2 strikes, 2 for Korey. Now Steve with his 2nd, had 1 in the 4th, again here in the 8th. Box 9 for Korey. This is game 1 of 2.
Korey right back, solid 9-pin drop, 6-pin piece of wood out in front. Spare in a 9th.
His 5th mark in this game.
Glad to see the 7-pin go down, and now the 6 goes down, leaves him just a 10. Just has to keep the ball on the lane. Remember, it cannot touch any of those first 2 pieces of wood in the channel, or it would not count.
Got it. Extra ball coming up. So 135 plus this final ball in game 1 for Korey.
You know, hindsight is what it is, but if you go back and look at that double strike, if he had filled that with, say, 7 or 8, he would have a monster first game. As it is, he's more than likely going to be over 140.
Yes.
Well over 140.
144, the final number in game 1. 6 marks, 4 spares, 2 strikes for Korey. Steve has a chance to match that as he comes off a strike here into the 9th.
Look a little better than that. He was hoping that wood would roll back, but it's not going to help him either. So he's probably thinking, if I can get an 8 fill, I would take it. That's exactly what he gets. That ties the match up temporarily through 8 frames, but he's opposite, of course, spare 9, spare 9. So quickly he goes 10 pins down, and he's still facing a spare 9.
Coming up after this box in the break, we'll have the strike challenge. Member of the audience, LORELEI Sullivan, to bowl for $800.
Three, 6, 7. And let's see where the wood settles down. The wood may come back and turn a little bit, have a good angle on that 7. The only fear here is having the 3-pin deflect around the 6.
He'll get an extra ball in the 10th box.
Well, he needs 9 at least to keep it at a 10-pin deficit. But that was a huge mark. Keep yourself in the match. You see the replay.
And he gets those 9. 144-134. Korey up by 10. We may be talking top 2 game totals from the second game of this championship match. Back with the strike challenge after this.
Hello and welcome back, everybody. It's time for the strike challenge, and today our challenger is LORELEI Sullivan, Dean Sullivan's niece. LORELEI, do you bowl a lot?
Yeah, with family, friends.
So $800 for one strike. You think you can do it?
Hopefully.
All right, best of luck.
Thank you.
Let's see if she can do it in the strike challenge for $800 that jackpot has been building in recent weeks, and she'll need a strike to win all 800. $50 now for a spare if she can convert it. Now it's $1 a pin, so LORELEI is at $6 right now with the final ball. Coming up. Total of 6. Back now for game 2. 10-pin advantage for Korey Packard, 144-134. And our challenger, Steve Vadney, to go first, down some 10 pins.
You want to establish yourself early in the second game, putting a mark right up there, and he's going to have a good chance. Well, it looked a lot better than it is right now. I don't think he can buy that front piece of wood. Many times those pins can help you and hurt you. In that case, it was not a help to Steve.
Gets all 10, box 1. Strike in the second.
You see a replay, not much doubt about it. It's a matter of if it's going to be a strike or a 9-pin drop and leave that 10-pin. So Korey Packard has something to think about, leading by 10.
Oh, I was about to say strike of its own, but he leaves the 7.
He wants that wood to get out of the way, give him a clear shot at the 7 or turn. And he looks like he's going to have a clear shot at the 7-pin.
Missed it.
You can almost see a little bit behind himself. His ball wants to break right to left, and he got a little bit behind himself and straightened the ball out. Matching 10 boxes, but that's not what Korey wanted. Now he's facing the strike in the second. On the head pin, this time too full, leaves himself the 2-pin, and then of course the 3-6-10 on the right. Looks like he's going to have to play the 2-pin in that piece of wood, see if he gets something come off the wall. I just don't think trying to split the 3 and the 6 is, odds are greatly against you. That's what he decides to do. So he'll be open. This match is going to get a lot tighter.
We're about to find out how much tighter. Steve's going to step in following that strike in the second. Big Phil coming up.
9 will tie it up. Of course, spare on strike, he'll give him the lead.
Gets 8.
Just the 3-6 between him and Spare on strike, and the lead. Ooh, he wants to keep it close, I guess. So he'll still trail by 1 pin after completed frames, after 2. So both bowlers, crucial mistake early in the second game. Korey Packard missing the 7-pin for a spare. Steve Vadney missing a legitimate 3-6 for a spare. You always wonder, missing an easy spare, how long that the bowler dwells on that. The good bowlers, they forget about it. It's 1 box.
Nine and a 10, 3 and 4, 47 in this game. Korey will operate opposite those 2 open boxes. We'll have 2 pins to look at now. It's just the 7 a box ago, 2 boxes ago.
He's going to have to go low on the piece of wood to the right of the red line, have the ball take out the 9. Now whether the wood can take out the 7 remains to be seen. He's too high. Too high. Too high. The ball did not take out the 9. But he can gain 1 and count with the 10 box.
Instead of matching 9.
So the lead through 13 frames is still Korey Packard, our champ, by a pin. One of the few times in consecutive frames he's missed the head pin with that first ball. Good recovery there, but no mark to show for it. Keep the lead, must convert both of these pins for the 10 box.
Got him. That lead, a slim one, the slimmest of leads. A 1 pin, 182 to 181. Korey without a mark here in the second game. Steve with the only mark, a strike in the second. Leaves the goalpost, 7-10.
You better not miss this one. Not much you can do. Slap it off the wall.
Second straight 10 box, 3rd in this game for Steve. 57 at the turn in the second game. Seven fall.
Can he avoid the front piece, hit the second piece, have the ball take out the 6-10? No. Almost, but it was just too deep.
Run of 10s for Steve at the moment. As he moves to 67 in this game, up over 200. Total 201. 272 from Jeremy Seaholm is currently the 3rd score in that top 3. That's the one the bowlers would have to get by to qualify for the championship show.
Well, here's the first test. Remember, early in this game, he missed a 7-pin for a spare. And this, I always say, is the most difficult pin for a right-hander, the 10-pin.
And he'll miss it to the left.
like he may have come up a little bit on his delivery. You got to stay down with a shot. No, muscle memory there. So now we got a tie match. Through halfway, through 5 boxes of the second game. Opposite of 10 box. He's got to be thinking about the single pins now. And it's not that he's missing him by 6 or 8 inches. He's just barely going by him, but. I guess that's like hitting line drives, you know. It's okay, but they got to fall in for base hits. Again, similar shot. I really think you have to go after the 2-pin and the wood and have that wood come off the left sidewall. Last time he tried to split the 3 and the 6. No, got the 2-pin clean.
Without a mark through 6 for Korey.
He needs these 3 to keep it at a tie game. We'll go down to the final 4 frames. No, he's going to be down by a pin now, our champ.
Steve has moved into the lead at 201 to 200. 4 boxes remain. We'll have them when we come back on Comcast SportsNet.
I think it hit and then.
Welcome back. 4 boxes remaining, and we want to adjust the score, Dan.
That's right. In the 5th frame, Steve Vadney had the 7-10 up. In his second ball, he shot at the 7-pin. And after looking at the replay, it clipped the piece of wood in the gutter first. And therefore, it negated that 7-pin. So he had a 9 box there, which gives us a tie now for the last 4 frames.
Overall, 200-200 with 4 boxes remaining.
The rule is that the ball can go anywhere if it hits a fair piece of wood first. Pin standing, pin down. But if it hits something out of play, which that was, it does not count.
Steve will drop 7, leaves a 3-6-10.
That was a flush on the head pin, too, and got a 7-pin drop. Was heavy on the 3-pin there, got the 6, never carried the 10. All these are important pins now.
Lower pace for these two here in game 2. 75 through 7 for Steve. Just 1 mark. It belongs to Steve. It came in the second. It was a strike.
And it's getting better by the minute. Missed the head pin, leaves the 1 and the 7. Got to take a piece of that wood and the head pin, or at least hit the head pin to give himself a shot at the 7 and a spare. He does.
Comes in a big spot, that crucial 8th frame.
You see the replay. And like John says, he knows he has a mark, puts a little pressure on the champ, and it sets himself up for the final 2 frames.
Box 7 for Korey. Skips it in there to take out 4 total.
Perfectly legal, just dropped the ball almost right on the foul line and skipped it out there, but remember, Korey's been in some tight matches, and it can't get much tighter than this. Opposite a 9 box, needs 3 to keep it even. Be down by 1 now, facing the mark.
What will he do in the 8th to set himself up for the final 2?
Well, they've been going back and forth. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if Korey puts up a spare or a strike here.
It would be his first mark of this game, though.
Yeah, you think he's overdue. All of a sudden, he has lost that head pin. 4 horsemen to the right. Got some help behind the 3 and the 6. Got to catch the head pin. Missed the object pin.
So Steve Vadney now in position with a strong finish to win this. Wasn't flustered at all by losing a pin there when we corrected the score. Came right back in mark.
This is a crucial ball, obviously, on this spare in the 8th, leading by 1. Does not want to make a mistake on the spare. And that's not a mistake.
Strike on spare. Second ball in the fill coming up.
If he doesn't mark here, Korey still has an opening. He'll have to mark in both frames.
So he's got at least 121, maybe 2 more in this game. 1 more. 9 in box 10. 134 in the first game, 122 in this one. He's at 256.
Korey needs double strike. Needs both marks, but he needs a double strike somewhere in the 9th or the 10th. Oh, that was close
That
to 1.
close, just the 10 remains.
Here's a situation, anything with a red line or to the left, it makes that piece of wood good. It's good, spare in the 9th. Needs a strike. Needs a strike to keep his hopes alive. No.
Will not happen. Korey's run of championships ending at 2 weeks, and Steve Vadney has taken the title away this week. After a 144 in game 1, you would not have guessed that Korey would have marked just once in the second game. That's the way it goes sometimes, just a 98 under the century mark. And it's a 14-pin victory for Steve Vadney after being down 10. Back for the wrap-up after this. Back in Woburn for the wrap-up, and we've got a new champ. Familiar face, Steve Vadney.
Yeah, it was going good. Korey, our champ, had a double strike. He got some bad breaks on the double strike. And going down the stretch, this game can turn on you in a second. He had a 144, and then it was like 8 boxes before he got down to the mark.
We'll speak with Steve in just a second, but first, standing by with the runner-ups, it's Trina.
Thanks, John. Well, I've got Dean and Korey over here. Dean, second time on the show. Was it any easier?
A little bit. Just got to take your time and hope the pins fall.
Yeah, I was cheering for you, and I told you to slow down.
I heard you.
Well, to make you feel better, $150 from the ICBA, so congratulations on that. And hopefully we'll see you back next season.
Oh, yes.
And Korey, 2 weeks as our champ. You were going really well there. What happened towards the end?
I was doing pretty good until that last game. I missed a few opportunities and got some other splits and just didn't work out. Steve bowled really well, though. So.
Steve did bowl really well. So did you, though. Congratulations to you, $300 from the ICBA.
Thank you.
And hopefully we'll see you back next season as well.
Great.
Back over to you, John.
Okay, Trina, thank you. Steve down after game 1, and Korey struggled a bit in game 2. You took advantage, and you weren't thrown off by losing that pin when we made the announcement after 6 boxes.
No, that pin, I thought it was good with the naked eye, but I guess on the replays, Dan picked it out.
Well,
But,
eagle eye over here.
No, actually, it was my naked eye. I knew it wasn't any good, but I just wanted to confirm.
Oh, really? Well, you know, maybe you're younger than I am.
Well, you do get the chance to come back now, and you can still target those top 3 2-game totals.
Let's hope so. Gotta keep that. It's a tough thing to get two high string totals, but you know, if you get out there in the lead, and maybe we'll see.
Well, congratulations today. We'll see you next week.
Okay, be there.
And you too.